So one of my favorite things to talk about in the NBA are the feel-good stories. I love seeing the progress of these younger teams once they become competitive and actually give teams a run for their money night in and night out. It's very fascinating to watch. For me, I'm a Cleveland Cavaliers fan, so that started last year for me once the Cavs broke out with Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, and Jarrett Allen. Early on the year for me, it was the Orlando Magic with Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner, and so far it's been the OKC Thunder. Man, what a treat it has been to watch them as of late. And it's not even just as of late, because for the entire season, the OKC Thunder have been turning heads. It's not even like they started off the season hot. They just started off much better than they usually have been. Over the last couple of seasons, it's been no secret that the OKC Thunder have been a tanking team. They would always put out these random lineups with these NBA players that no one really knew the names of in hopes of tanking and getting a better lottery pick. But this year it's been different because they haven't really been doing that. They've actually been competing in a lot of games and winning quite a few of them. As it currently stands, the Oklahoma City Thunder are firmly in playoff contention in the Western Conference. The race is tight and anything can happen, but I would not be surprised to see them playing postseason basketball. They sit as the 8th seed with a record of 34-35 and are above teams like the Mavericks and the Lakers and the Pelicans. And what makes their season even crazier is the roster that Sam Presti has put together. There's not a single person on this team over the age of 28, which as you can guess is the youngest team in the NBA, and they don't even have a healthy rotational center on the roster. And I want to talk more about why this team is doing the things they're doing, how they're playing so well, what the next step is for them, and why I believe they are like a legit dynasty in the making. Talking about this team, you have to first talk about their superstar player in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Now, from the day he was drafted, everybody knew the abilities that Shai had. He was a very talented player coming out of Kentucky. He was originally drafted by the Charlotte Hornets, but traded to the Los Angeles Clippers on draft night, and then proceeded to get traded once more in the Paul George trade. Year in and year out, Shai blossomed, and he got better and better and better and better, but never really got the acknowledgement as his fellow peers because the Thunder were tanking. On the year, Shai is averaging 31 points, dishing out 5.6 assists. He's shooting 51% from the field, just under 35% from 3, and 91% from the free throw line on about 11 attempts per game. These numbers are very absurd. He's a legit All-NBA candidate, and I mean, there's no argument for me that he's a top 5 guard in the NBA. Not just point guard or shooting guard, guard in general. He excels deeply in the mid-range, his bag is unlimited, and he's added the ability to draw contact and get to the free throw line to his game. He plays at his own tempo, nobody can really rush him, and he's extremely clutch. I believe Shai can be the best player on the championship team. He is a franchise-altering player. The 2021 draft was their first chance at actually adding pieces around Shai that fit, and so far, I mean, it's been looking great for this OKC Thunder team. In that 2021 draft, they drafted Josh Giddey, who so far is looking like the premier playmaker alongside Shai. Another player who's having a fantastic season. I mean, not a lot of people are really talking about the leap that Josh Giddey has made in his game. We saw a glimpse of what he can do last year, but this year he's taking it to new heights. On the season, Josh Giddey's averaging 16 points a game, just under 8 rebounds, 6 assists. He's shooting 48% from the field, and the three-point shot isn't really there, but who cares? Josh Giddey is a maestro with the ball. I mean, his playmaking ability is what shines brightest. And what makes Josh Giddey's season even crazier is the fact that he's only 20 years old and he's not going to be turning 21 until October. His vision, his IQ, everything is so amazing for someone at such a young age. And when you pair the two together, it's like yin and yang, because Josh Giddey's game is not about his scoring. That's Shai's game. And Shai's game isn't too much about facilitating and playmaking, and that's Giddey's game. And though the two aren't really known for their defense, they have the size and quickness to stay in front of their opponents, and so far it's been working nearly to a T. And for the last season and a half, that was the big two, until the Thunder made another great drafting in this past year's NBA draft. In the 2022 NBA draft, they drafted Jalen Williams. Jalen Williams had a little of a slow start to his NBA career because he was getting himself accustomed and everything. I mean, you know what normal rookies do. His on-the-year counting stats don't really tell the full story. We have to look to the new year to see his impact on this team. Since the calendar year has flipped, Jalen Williams is averaging 15.8 points. He's dishing out 4 assists. He's grabbing 5 rebounds. He's shooting 53.2% from the field, about 39% from 3, and 80% from the free throw line. Now, when we look even deeper than that, in the month of March, Jalen Williams is averaging 22.8 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, shooting 61% from the field, 56% from 3, and 83% from the free throw line. For a rookie, matter of fact, for an NBA player, these shooting splits with these stats are insane. To average nearly 23 points, shooting 61% from the field and 56% from 3 is ludicrous. He's not one to force up bad shots. He takes shots that are efficient and takes shots that he's comfortable with. He's effective in the paint. He's effective in the mid-range area. He's effective from 3. I mean, he's the perfect plug-and-play guy, but he's more than that. You can't even just call him that. He has the length to be an excellent defender. He's already a sharpshooter, and he has real shot creation ability. Thinking about him alongside Shea and Giddey is crazy. I mean, that big three right there in itself is awesome for this Thunder team. They are making it work at an insane level. They all bring their own dynamics and all have their own features that each of them can bounce off of, and so far, I mean, it's been working great, man. And once you look at those three, you see why the Thunder are playing as well as they have been. You see why the Thunder are probably taking a lot of teams by storm, considering the fact that they're competitive this year. They're actually looking to the playoffs, and we're just going to see if they make it. When we look at the rest of this roster, you see where they get their grit, their chemistry, their culture from. There's Lou Dort, who's the ultimate 3-and-D player. The Dortcher Chamber is the nickname that a lot of people like to give him. I mean, all the year, he's been great. There's Isaiah Joe, who's the second coming of Ray Allen. I mean, he's been the best three-point shooter in this league this season. You have the other Jalen Williams, who they drafted in this year's NBA draft. He's one of the best charge takers in this league, and you got guys like Pokuševski and Dario Saric, who in limited time have been able to give this Thunder team a needed spark. And then there's Weapon X, what I like to call him, Ousmane Dieng. It's going to take some time for him to really hit his stride, but I mean, that pick makes a lot of sense for this Thunder team. If he ever reaches his potential, I mean, this team just becomes that much scarier. And of course, we have to talk about their second overall pick that has not been able to play so far in Chet Holmgren. The lanky, skinny 7-footer with guard abilities who can shoot lights out and has great rim protection abilities. Now, similar to Ousmane Dieng, it's probably going to take a couple years for him to really hit his potential, especially considering the fact that he's already missed a year due to injury. Now, I do have some words for Chet. I worry about how his weight is going to hold up in that paint. I worry about how his post-up game is going to be. I worry about his aggression and if he's going to be able to really get the opportunities, considering the fact that they do have Giddey and they do have Shea and they do have Jalen Williams. When he gets on an NBA court, he's going to show insane flashes, and I mean, he's going to be the completing piece to this core four. And it's not it, because you talk about Sam Presti and the job that he's done. It's not just about the players that he's acquired. It's about the picks and assets that he's acquired as well. Because of the moves that they've made over the last couple of years, the Oklahoma City Thunder basically control the rights to the Clippers draft picks for like the next 7 or 8 years. There's also some picks that they own from the Heat. They own some picks from the Rockets. I mean, it's just so many picks here from the Wizards, the Mavericks, the Sixers. I mean, the moves they've made and to have the core that they have is crazy. So having those picks as well as some of the assets that they have on this team, they have the ammunition to go out there and make a big move if they want to accelerate this rebuild. It's a huge luxury, and I'm glad that Sam Presti didn't take the route of just tanking and actually getting this team to play winning basketball and hopefully into the postseason where they can gain that experience. Whatever happens this season for the Oklahoma City Thunder, it's been so fun to watch, and I truthfully cannot wait to see where this team is in 4 to 5 years.